What's up, guys? So, I saw on social media Israel Adesanya and Tyron Woodley are going back and forth, talking crap to each other. And, Tyron Woodley's calling Adesanya the Great White Hype. And he's like, he's saying that he's terrified of power, right? He says he watched paint dry against Yoel Romero, and now you have the record for least amount of strikes. Obviously talking a lot of crap about him. I mean, that kind of infamous bout he just had with Yoel Romero where, there wasn't much action back and forth. The judges kind of gave him the decision. I mean, go back and watch that fight. I mean, obviously, look, I don't want to talk about that fight too much, but, I do, but we'll go into a little more detail in a later video. But then, Adesanya also was talking to him, saying like, that he can't even basically saying that Tyron Woodley can't even deal with Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare, when he's at 30%. I mean, that's kind of an infamous line from Usman, right? He says, "Oh, I was only 30%." I think that didn't really do him any favors by saying that. I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining of bouts, but I mean, look, Usman did nullify Tyron Woodley, and I feel that's an interesting matchup. Now, of course, Tyron Woodley's fighting at that welterweight, but we all know Tyron Woodley, that's a big weight cut for him. I mean, that guy's definitely walking around well over 200 pounds easily. I remember him talking to Bisping backstage, and they were saying like the walk around weight, Tyron Woodley's walk around weight is heavier than Michael Bisping's, right? And Bisping's fighting at it was a middleweight, right? He's like he was a middleweight champion. So I feel like what I mean. It's just like this is just an interesting matchup. I feel like, in my opinion, Adesanya. I mean, this is a really interesting. I've been looking at back and forth, but I feel like, look, Tyron Woodley's. I mean, it's good. I mean, get your name out there. It's nice. But after that just nullifying, basically after that overwhelming loss to Usman was, I mean, just kind of toyed with him, like just taking him down. It just surprised me how effective he was, and I just feel like, was that a mental thing with Tyron Woodley? It had to be. I mean, just a really great game plan and basically the great execution of a game plan. Usman really is a master at that, right? And I feel like, I mean, Tyron Woodley needs to go in and beat Leon Edwards. He needs to go in there, and Leon Edwards is not a joke. Go back and watch his fights. I mean, he's pretty well rounded, and he's really good. He's really good for the weight class of welterweight. I feel like he's not a huge welterweight though. He's good. He's 6 foot. Like I said, I don't know, but I mean, judging from his appearance and he's never really had any issues with making weight at that, right? And I feel like, naturally, I think Tyron Woodley just obviously look at him. He's a stockier guy, very heavily muscled, and so I think he's just, much heavier. You can use that against him, but I think, I wouldn't count, especially with Tyron Woodley, where's his confidence? You have to ask where his head's at, right? Can he go in there and beat Leon Edwards? I mean, the Leon Edwards is really well-rounded. His striking is looking good. His wrestling is looking pretty good, but he has his holes as well. If you go back and watch the Vincent Luque fight with Leon Edwards, you can see some good moments. You can see his strength and his weaknesses. I need to go back and look at more Leon Edwards before I speak in length about him, though. But yeah, he's promising. I mean, if he's coming off, I mean, he's got to be feeling pretty confident, like knowing, hey, I'm the one who's winning in this division. I'm the one who's doing well. I'm not just coming off of a loss like that where someone just nullified me like Usman did to Woodley, right? And so I feel like, okay, so let's say, and that's a big if. I mean, I think Tyron Woodley, he can if he shows up, as they say, right? If he shows up, we all know Tyron Woodley, right? That great wrestling, that power that he has in that hand, especially that right. I mean, he can really take it to him. But I mean, if he loses confidence like he did, if he's just gonna, I mean, look what happened. Look at Israel Adesanya versus friggin' Yoel Romero. Now, obviously, I think if you look at the strikes, it's true. Look at official. Go back to the stats, and it says even on the UFC Fight Pass as well. It says strikes. I mean, Israel Adesanya edged out the amount of strikes against Yoel Romero, right? And Yoel Romero, man, I swear, and I've said this many times, I think he could have, yes. And I put money on Adesanya. I was looking back and I thought, okay, I was researching their fights. I mean, a little more just before I made the bet, and I was like happy I did. But that was a close fight. I mean, obviously, and I just didn't expect to go that. I didn't expect it to be like that. I knew Yoel Romero was gonna go in there. He's gonna be really complacent. He's gonna wait, hold on to his energy. He's gonna he wants to make you lull you into a false sense of security, and then bam, land at something explosive on you. That's what he's done. I've talked about this before, but I feel like Yoel Romero. I'll tell you what, I'm serious. What do you got to lose? Adesanya in that fight had a lot to lose. Like, okay, I could get really knocked out and lose my belt. That's a huge gamble, right? Yo Romero, he thought, okay, I mean, he's got to go for broke. This is like pretty much, I mean, I'm sorry, but I think it's going to be like his last chance at getting a real title fight. And Yo Romero, I mean, he should have just known, okay, I'm down his cards. I've already conserved my energy. I haven't really been moving much. I haven't been landing many strikes. He should have gone for broke in those last rounds, man. Just swung something. He had a good chance of clipping him. Now, maybe he could have get countered like the way Adesanya did to Whitaker, but I mean, I don't see it. I think Yo Romero's a beast, and I think you can tell he was scared of it. So I think, you know what I mean? I think with that, you know, I just feel like, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm here taking a break at work. But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, man. It's an interesting thing. I think like it just shows like the mentality, how they're gonna show up. And going back to, like I said, Yo Romero could have won that for sure. I mean, look at how Adesanya had that big welt on his head. He did not like getting hit by. Once Yo Romero even landed something, touched him up a little bit, he did not want it. And you know, with that, you know, I just feel like, with that, you know what I mean. I'm sorry. I'm just, like I said, I'm distracted at work. But with that, you know what I mean. I just feel like let's put that on the shelf. Let's say, okay, what about Adesanya versus Tyron Woodley? How would that go, man? Like I said, it shows how they show up. If Tyron Woodley shows up like he did against Usman and looks, maybe he's not, that it really affects your confidence. If he doesn't feel good about it, maybe Adesanya will be able to play with him. He's gonna be coming off confident, like, hey, well, I beat Yo Romero. I mean, it's a boring fight, but I mean, still, I mean, he won against him. You know, I'll just kind of low you. I'll be landing strikes. I mean, I have the greater. He has a much better. He's a taller guy, right? He's much taller, and he has a range. So I mean, I can just pick you apart from the side, get you frustrated. And if Tyron Woodley loses confidence, then yeah, of course that could happen. But if Tyron Woodley goes in there with a chip on his shoulder, and you know, really, I mean, it's messed up because you don't want to go in there trying to run forward and, you know, like a really angry kickboxer, kind of like how Whitaker was doing. He kind of just got baited into his counters. But I feel like, yeah, Tyron Woodley on his best. I mean, yeah, let's not pretend like this guy wasn't the champion for a reason. Let's not pretend that. I mean, sometimes he doesn't have the most entertaining of fights, but he'll stick to a game plan. He's got the great wrestling. He's got the power, right, explosiveness. I mean, if he sticks to his game plan, I mean, I feel like, yeah, he could win. But I'd have to review it more. But I think in that matchup, I feel like, I'm sorry, Adesanya is going to have the advantage. I mean, mentally and, I mean, stylistically, I just feel like he'd be able to pick him apart. But we don't know. Tyron Woodley could, yeah, absolutely. He could take him down. He could land a big shot, too. Look at, I mean, man, I swear, if Yo Romero had just gone for broke, like, all right, I'm losing this fight. If I just continue what I'm doing, and you know, he's like, don't even worry about gas tank. Burn out your gas tank. Lose all your gas. You didn't even throw many strikes. Those last, at least in the 4th to 5th round, those last couple rounds, just go for broke. You could have blitzed in, right? Instead of eating those goddamn leg kicks, like, you know, okay, just whatever, you know, land with the overhand right. Try it. You have nothing to lose. And if you start pieced up on the feet, well, at least you'll make it a war. And you're telling me if you go in a back and forth trade, Yo Romero's not going to land something? I think he will, and he could have been coming.